Welcome back to Books with AR. Chapter 579, Ling Tianhou Sword Energy 1. A chuckle came from a very elegant palace in the imperial city of Sky Demon City. Could it be that this little fellow wants to challenge Mo Li Hai to battle with him before the Demon General competition begins, and wishes to use the military merit he earned while fighting against the Fire Demon country, so I can't refuse him? This brat is interesting. I'll allow it. Another old voice appeared in the palace. This Demon Emperor, if the two of them set a precedent, I'm afraid the other demon generals will... If anyone else has 10,000 military merit points, then I'll allow them to do it too. Yes. Shortly after, an old man walked out of the palace holding a scroll. He shook his head slightly and then quickly left. The day of the Demon General competition grew closer and closer. The entire Sky Demon City was surrounded by an oppressive atmosphere, and there were countless battles every day. Wang Lin was sitting on the side of the river and put down the wine jug, looked at the sky, and muttered to himself. This is a game. A game in the eyes of the Demon Emperor. In the Demon Emperor's view, the foreigners are killing each other with the goal of helping the Demon Generals to obtain a higher position. This is the best kind of game. Wang Lin took a drink. His eyes were filled with clarity. He pondered a bit before standing up and gradually walking away. It was already the 7th day, so there was still 8 days until the Demon General competition. It was now dusk, and because of the oppressive air around Sky Demon City, there were fewer and fewer pedestrians. A young man wearing a green robe was slowly walking toward the No Mansion from 1,000 feet away. This person carried a large sword behind his back, and his expression was extremely calm. He walked toward the Mo Mansion, and as he closed in, a faint amount of celestial spiritual energy slowly spread out. At the same time, an oppressive air surrounded the entire Mo Mansion. Inside the Mo Mansion, Mo Li Hai was cultivating in his secret chamber. There were 17 hand-sized puppets releasing demonic light and floating around his body. Bursts of demonic spiritual energy spread out from Mo Li Hai. This demonic spiritual energy was connecting with the 17 puppets and creating a perfect cycle. At this moment, Mo Li Hai suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze was like lightning and seemed to be able to penetrate the secret chamber to see the man outside the Mo Mansion. The man released a sound of surprise and revealed a faint smile. He didn't stop as he arrived before the Mo Mansion. He didn't seem to use any spells, but the gate to the Mo Mansion was reduced to pieces and was blown back. While the debris was blowing back, 2 miserable groans were heard. A large amount of blood mist gushed out from 2 guards as they were thrown into the depths of the mansion. Lou Sword Sect's 12th sword, Mo Yang, wishes to greet Lord Mo Li Hai. A calm voice came out of his mouth. He didn't stop as he walked into the Mo Mansion and made his way toward the secret chamber where Mo Li Hai was in closed-door cultivation. Countless soldiers and Mo Li Hai subordinates all rushed over. However, anyone who got within 10 feet of this person would silently shatter into a bloody mist. Along the way, there were many sounds of explosions, and no one could stop him. Even some of the buildings and fake mountains were destroyed, just like the gate was. Just at this moment, a short figure appeared before him. The moment this figure appeared, all of his demonic spiritual energy spread out to resist this man from the Lou Sword Sect. The man from the Lou Sword Sect slightly shook his head and continued to walk forward without stopping. The short person's face paled. He had a feeling he wasn't facing a person, but a sword. A sword that had already revealed its sharpness. The short person involuntarily stepped back. When he retreated several feet, a hand pushed up against his back. At this moment, the short person let out a deep breath of relief. 3 people had appeared behind him. The 3 of them were all white-haired elders. They stood there and coldly looked at the man from the Lou Sword Sect. The man from the Lou Sword Sect's eyes landed on the three old men, then faintly smiled and continued to walk forward. The three old men revealed serious expressions and were about to use their spells when a low voice suddenly appeared from behind them. "Who sent you?" This voice was filled with majesty. The three elders immediately and respectfully moved out of the way, revealing Mo Li Hai's imposing figure. When Mo Li Hai looked at the young man from the Lou Sword Sect, his eyes were as bright as burning flames. This heir right now was even more imposing than he had when he faced Wang Lin in ancient Demon City. The man from the Lou Sword Sect eyes lit up and stopped and said, "Demon General Mo Fei." Mo Li Hai frowned and shouted, "What is it?" "I am here to deliver a challenge letter for General Mo Li Hai from Lord Mo Fei." The young man calmly waved his hand, and a ray of golden light shot out, before stopping before Mo Li Hai. Mo Li Hai's expression was gloomy as he looked at the golden token before him. There was only one word on it: battle. 3 days from now, outside the Ancient Path Hall. After the man from the Lou Sword Sect finished speaking, he turned around to leave. But just as he turned around, his entire body stiffened and released a powerful aura. This aura was extremely powerful, far more powerful than the one he emitted when he entered the Mo Mansion. His eyes glowed brightly as he looked at a slender figure that appeared 1,000 feet before him and said, "Purple Division's 7th Discipline, Wang Lin." Mo Li Hai only noticed Wang Lin's appearance now, and this made him relax a bit. Wang Lin didn't even look at the person and continued to walk forward. However, in the view of the man from the Lou Sword Sect, there was a hint of anger. The man from the Lou Sword Sect coldly said, "Rumor has it that the 7th discipline of the Purple Division is extremely arrogant. Seeing you today, it looks like the rumors are true." Wang Lin walked toward the person as if he hadn't heard him at all. The man from the Lou Sword Sect aura surged and locked onto Wang Lin like an unsheathed sword. At the moment his air reached its peak, Wang Lin passed him without even pausing. The man from the Lou Sword Sect was startled, but he immediately became even more angry and turned around to look at Wang Lin, who was walking away, and shouted, "Wang—" Without waiting for him to finish, Wang Lin raised his head and said, "For a cultivator to be so easily angered, your 1,000 years of cultivation is a big disappointment." If it was someone from the All-Seers generation, the man would have humbly accepted it. But hearing it from Wang Lin was extremely irritating. He laughed in anger, but his eyes became even colder, and he said, "I want to see what you managed to achieve in your 1,000 years of cultivation." Wang Lin shook his head and calmly said, "Move out of the way." The man from the Lou Sword Sect laughed as his hand formed a seal. An array of sword energy condensed before him. It split from 1 into 2, 2 into 4, and continued until there were 64 rays of sword energy, and they all flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was calm, and he didn't even look at the 64 rays of sword energy. The sword energy fell on Wang Lin, but at this moment, there was a flash of the life seals. The sword energy rays collided with the life seals, and all disappeared. "Is that all the power you have? It looks like your 1,000 years of cultivation are not only a disappointment, but also a complete waste." Wang Lin shook his head. The man from the Lou Sword Sect's expression changed greatly, and his face was filled with disbelief. Although those 64 rays of sword energy weren't his strongest move, it was not a weak spell. Upon seeing Wang Lin so easily withstand it, his heart shook greatly. "What spell is that? This person didn't use any treasures, but when my sword energy closed in on his body, it collapsed. Even the dragon sword of the 12 swords can't do this." When Wang Lin shook his head, he continued to walk forward. The man from the Lou Sword Sect subconsciously took a few steps back, Then he took a deep breath and placed his hand on the large sword. Wang Lin frowned, then he coldly looked at the person and said, "Scram! Today you came to deliver the challenge letter, so I won't kill you." "You are merely at the peak of the late stage of soul transformation, the same cultivation level as me. Even if your spell is powerful, there is no way for you to withstand this sword." The man from the Lou Sword Sect's eyes became serious. He no longer wasted any more words, and he moved his right hand, and the treasured sword behind his back flew out. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As if a bolt of lightning had flown across the sky, a giant purple sword suddenly appeared above this person, and this sword gave off a powerful sword energy. And the moment it appeared, it surrounded the area in a powerful sword intent. There was a mysterious symbol engraved on the sword. The illusion of a giant purple ram appeared from the symbol and released a violent aura. It fused with the sword and caused the sword intent of the sword to become even stronger. "Final ram sword slash!" as the man shouted. The celestial spiritual energy inside his body surged out. He immediately slashed down with his right hand, and at the same time, the large sword in the air moved. It crashed down upon Wang Lin with an unimaginable amount of sword energy. Mo Li Hai's expression changed, and he immediately began to back up. The people behind him also backed up, and in the blink of an eye, they had backed away more than a few thousand feet. The giant sword descended like a bolt of lightning, and thunderous roars accompanied its descent. Wang Lin's expression was still neutral. Although this giant sword had power, and was especially powerful with the ram soul fused into it, this man before him didn't have the ability to use the full power of the ram soul. A waste of a good sword. As Wang Lin said that, he lifted his right hand. To the man from the Lou Sword Sect's extreme shock, Wang Lin grabbed the sword. At the moment he grabbed the sword, the life seals around his hand flashed like crazy, and more than 1,000 life seals covered his hand. Roars came out from the giant sword, and the ram soul inside the sword struggled like crazy in its attempt to break free from Wang Lin. But Wang Lin's hand was like the palm of an ancient god. So no matter how hard it struggled, it wouldn't move Wang Lin's hand a single inch. The evil ram soul in the giant sword let out a monstrous roar. Its eyes were currently filled with an unyielding gaze, and like a primordial beast, it opened its mouth and tried to devour Wang Lin. Although it was just a sword spirit, and therefore an illusion, everyone nearby felt like they could smell the fishy breath of the ram as it tried to devour Wang Lin. "Evil animal, you dare?" Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and a flash of red appeared in them. Then the slaughter intent shot out from his eyes and directly entered the ram soul. The ram soul let out a miserable cry as its body was destroyed by the slaughter intent. The specks of life from the collapsed ram quickly returned to the giant sword. And at this moment, the sword stopped struggling. What Wang Lin did just now was almost exactly the same as when the All-Seer was able to make the god-slaying war chariot collapse with just the point of his finger. Mo Li Hai couldn't help but suck in a cold air when he saw all of this. He couldn't help but reveal a complex expression while looking at Wang Lin. He was able to become so strong in just 3 months? Even the vice commander-in-chief isn't his match. And he can subdue such a powerful sword spirit. If he had a spell this strong 3 months ago, I would have lost without a doubt. The Lou Sword Sect's Mo Young's body trembled, and he coughed up a mouthful of blood. This life treasure sword being taken by someone else caused his soul to be damaged. He would have never thought that Wang Lin would be this strong, or else no matter what, he wouldn't have come here by himself. He clenched his teeth. Then he took a deep breath and revealed a determined look. His final ace was a strand of sword energy that his master gifted him. There was a total of 12 rays of this sword energy, and each of the 12 swords was given one. This was the ultimate life-saving treasure, so it couldn't be carelessly used, or else the remaining 400 plus years in this demon spirit land would be extremely hard. But if he didn't use it now, he might not be able to leave. When Wang Lin looked at Mo Yang, his eyes lit up and he slowly said, "You can leave." Chapter 580, Ling Tianhou Sword Energy, 2. Mo Yang was startled. "I don't have any grudge against the Lou Sword Sect. If it wasn't for you repeatedly forcing me, I wouldn't have attacked. Send out a message to the 12 swords. I don't want to make you guys my enemies in the demon spirit land." As Wang Lin spoke, he threw the sword in his hand at Mo Yang. He then walked past Mo Yang and continued toward his room. His figure leaving caused Mo Yang to be completely startled. Just now, he was forced into a situation where he was about to use his life-saving treasure, but what Wang Lin said just now made him feel disbelief. He took a deep breath, picked up the giant sword, and after checking it with his divine sense to make sure nothing was wrong, he looked at Wang Lin, who was walking away, with bewilderment. "I'll definitely relay your message." Mo Yang moved and quickly flew away from the Mo mansion. His speed slowed down 10,000 feet from the Mo mansion, but his divine sense was still on guard. After a while, when he saw that Wang Lin still hadn't attacked him, it seemed like Wang Lin was really going to let him go. "Wang Lin, I'll definitely pay you back 100-fold for the disgrace I suffered today. Although your spell is powerful, next time I'll be back with several of my senior apprentice brothers to attack at once. I want to see if you can still be so calm." If it wasn't for Senior Greed going to the fire demon country, he would have only needed one move to kill you. Mo Yang's eyes revealed a hint of killing intent, then coldly looked at the Mo mansion before quickly leaving. He flew extremely fast. The farther he was away from the Mo mansion, the more relaxed he became. He recalled the battle earlier and couldn't help but feel fear. This Wang Lin is extremely strong. However, if I use the sword energy my master gave me, he won't be able to resist. Mo Yang revealed a cold smile. However, just at this moment, strands of gray gas silently came out of the big sword on his back. They were like snakes and were aimed directly at Mo Yang's head. A powerful sense of crisis enveloped him, but the strands of gray gas drilled into his skull at lightning speed before he could do anything. The gray gas's speed was too quick and it was too close. At almost the moment Mo Yang noticed the danger, he let out a miserable scream. His body began to fall from the sky, and his body began to wither. His body quickly withered, and his miserable screams echoed in the sky. His origin soul was not able to escape at all. The moment the gray gas entered his body, it formed a seal that cut off his origin soul from his body. At the same time, the gray gas quickly absorbed his flesh, blood, and celestial spiritual energy, making its seal even stronger. At the moment he landed, Mo Yan's eyes opened and he turned into a mummy. The last thought in his mind was about the giant sword. He had already checked it. How could there have been gray gas hidden within it? The space distorted before his body and Wang Lin walked out. He pointed at several points on Mo Yang's body, then grabbed the body, took a step, and disappeared. Wang Lin appeared from the void in his residence in the Mo mansion. He released his right hand and Mo Yang's body landed on the ground. Wang Lin's eyes were serious. As he slapped his bag of holding, then the restriction flag flew out and turned into black mist that surrounded the room. Countless restrictions flashed within the black mist. After doing all of this, he took a deep breath and sat down in the lotus position. He cultivated for a bit, but suddenly opened his eyes and his gaze fell on Mo Yang's body. After carefully examining the body, his gaze fell on Mo Yang's brow. He revealed an uncertain expression. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking. After pondering for a bit, his hand formed a seal and he began to chant. Soon, a ghostly fire appeared in his hand. His hand continued to change, creating many afterimages. Then he pointed at the body and softly said, "Refine." The ghostly fire floated toward Mo Yang's body and immediately spread out to surround the corpse. There was a series of cracking and popping sounds as Mo Yang's body melted at a visible rate. His body was already a mummy because his essence had already been sucked dry by the gray gas. Now that it was burning, a strange smell filled the room. But Wang Lin had no time to pay attention to that as he stared intently at the body. During the battle earlier, when Mo Yang touched his brow, it made Wang Lin feel like a strong crisis was coming. He almost never felt this kind of crisis after he had successfully mastered the slaughter energy. A mid-stage ascendant cultivator could not produce such an aura without even appearing. That thing had pierced through more than 3,000 layers of life seals and directly caused his origin soul to shake. This gave Wang Lin the feeling that he was in a life-and-death situation. He was extremely shocked, and that is why he decided to retreat for the moment, to ease the tension, and he was sure that unless he forced this man into a corner, he would not have used it. Mo Yang's body gradually melted, revealing his origin soul, which was surrounded by layers of gray gas that would occasionally give off a demonic glow. Mo Yang's origin soul's eyes were tightly shut, and it remained motionless inside the ghostly flame. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning as they began to carefully examine the origin soul. His eyes suddenly narrowed on Mo Yang's forehead. On it, there was a very faint blue line that seemed to be flashing. If one looked at it closely, this thin line was clearly a sword that had been shrunk down countless times. At the moment he saw the blue line, Wang Lin's body trembled, and the feeling of directly confronting Sword Saint Ling Tianhou filled his body. Ling Tianhou! Wang Lin took a deep breath, and his eyes became very serious. Back then, outside the gate, Ling Tianhou gave out rays of sword energy and called them the life-saving treasures for the 12 of them. This blue line is that sword energy. No wonder it can make me feel like I'm in a life-and-death situation, and directly pierce through my life seals. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and revealed a decisive expression. Since I saw this ray of sword energy, it will be mine. He closed his eyes and placed his arm on his knees. A ray of light appeared above his head as his origin soul left his body, then life seals surrounded his origin soul like layers of armor. Wang Lin's origin soul left his body and looked at Mo Yang's origin soul. He pondered a bit before spitting out some origin flame that fused into the ghostly flame. The ghostly flame suddenly began to burn even stronger. Wang Lin continued to spit out origin flames. Mo Yang's origin soul revealed a painful expression. He wanted to struggle, but the life seal around his origin soul had him on complete lockdown. Wang Lin's origin soul revealed a careful expression as he controlled the ghostly flame to avoid the sword energy and slowly eat away at Mo Yang's origin soul. Mo Yang's origin soul was slowly being refined. This process lasted for several days. Even with Wang Lin's mental strength, having to concentrate for so long caused his origin soul to dim and his face to show a tired expression. But his eyes became brighter and brighter. On this day, Mo Yang's origin soul finally collapsed into countless specks of blue light after being refined for so long. The blue thin line calmly floated among the blue specks. Wang Lin sucked the shattered pieces of Mo Yang's origin soul, which were devoured by Wang Lin to recover all of the energy he had used. After all that was done, Wang Lin looked at the motionless blue line with hesitation in his eyes. After pondering for a long time, Wang Lin clenched his teeth, he no longer hesitated, and devoured the thin line. At this moment, his origin soul trembled violently and began to lose connection to his body. Wang Lin was already prepared for this, which is why his body was not far away. He struggled to move, and right before the connection disappeared, he entered his body. Wang Lin sat there quietly for 3 days. On the evening of the 3rd day, Wang Lin opened his eyes. Although his gaze was calm, there was also a hint of a dazzling light in his eyes.